How does it already sound good? Sten? How does it already sound good? Sten? I gotta mute that. Sten, you said that the mic seems sensitive. I'm gonna turn it down. Oh, you can hear me breathing. The fuck? All right. How about now? Yeah, it better be really clear. It's a new mic. It's a little more like tolerable. Yeah, it is a very. It's a fucking Rhodes microphone. It's like. And it's not too wild sound wise. All right. How are all these people already finding this? Hi, Barry and Tom. It's literally unlisted in here. But since you guys are already here, you want to hit like on the video? The other thing I gotta figure out. Hmm. This thing needs the pop up chat still. Fuck. I forgot about that. Alright. I don't have to deal with that. Background shit seems gone. You guys that are in the chat, I'm talking to Stan in here through Facebook Messenger. Edit. Bing. Putting it up 9 minutes early. I'm just gonna go pop this up early. Your mom's house podcast, dude. Live chat. I just need to change 2 more things. Oh, that's the other thing I need to do. Unlisted. Public. Save. Alright, this hoe's live now. I'm gonna put this in a couple random posts. Don't mind me, guys. Just posting this a few places. Alright. Miss you too, Stain. The weird part is, why is it not telling me how many people are in here? It always said that for me before, and now it doesn't. Oh, there it is. I'm an idiot. Got it. full screen. Nope, because I need the chat. Yeah, 6 isn't enough. But you could hit that like button, the 6 of you that are in here. I was trying to find a way to make this camera not so shaky every time I type, but I don't have a good way of doing that. It's like it needs a brace under the edge of it. Well, that ain't gonna work. I had grand ideas. Dude, fucking rookie numbers for sure. I don't remember how to, like... I used to remember how to, like, send this out so that everybody got the link, but I don't remember how to fucking do that now. Also, shouldn't be swearing. I did the at everyone post. I guess I'm not supposed to start for another 7 minutes anyway, so this kind of works itself out. Oh, man. Look, you can see there's a hole in my head. Legit, a hole in my head. I gotta figure out if this is actually listed on my page. That's the other thing. Public content live public. Says there's only 6 people. I'll be honest with you, it's not enough. View in live control room. What? Oh, this is the thing I was looking for. Got it. It's okay, we're all fucking adults. Yeah, I know, Tom, but YouTube doesn't agree with you. YouTube strongly disagrees with your viewpoint about swearing. I let Tom out of timeout? Oh, because he said fucking, huh? See? That's what I'm talking about. They probably hid that. Oh, put user in timeout. God. Yeah, I don't know how to get rid of a lot of that stuff. I used to remember. I'm going to figure it all out. Because I'm going to start doing lives every Tuesday. I'm just doing this one today because I didn't do it on Tuesday. I'm actually going to put up a poll and see if I can get people to vote on what day I should actually do it. But right now it's set for Tuesday. Is there anybody else in here I needed to send this to? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tom, it does it on its own. And I used to have some level of control over what it did in that regard, but it doesn't anymore, and I don't really know why. Edit. Customization. Visibility is public. That's the thing that we need. I don't use altered content. This is the real me. There is no paid promotion. Oh, there's way too much stuff on here. Recording date and location. It's alive. The fuck? Content moderation. Don't hold any comments. There we go. Save. All right. Yes, Ray. I'll be live streaming again. I think once a week. I think I'm gonna do it once a week. There might be. Now that I got Patreon stuff set up and the memberships reset up on here in a little bit different way, I'm probably going to do 2 members only Q&As and then 2 everybody Q&As. I don't know what you would call those, public Q&As. That way the members get a little more something for their time, whatever, or their pay, I guess. And I can kind of focus more on that stuff. And finally, I'm like getting stuff in from some of the. I've been working with a bunch of different people to get advertisers for the channel again, and I finally worked most of that out. It's been a back and forth process, which has been terrible. But I'm gonna be doing like giveaways and stuff. Admittedly, most of the giveaway stuff is gonna be like in the members only sections of this that I do. Um, but we'll get to the membership stuff probably next week, actually. Ray, I'm still on the border to see if I want to expand to a new gun from the Eastwood gun. Ray, which gun do you have from Eastwood? What I'd like to do too is I want to, in one of these lives, I want to do a powder coating gun comparison video again. And in doing that, I want to know what you guys want to see, if that makes sense. I need to know what you guys would like to see as far as like testing the guns against each other. Because ultimately that's what the comparison is going to be, is how good is one gun versus another. I have a bunch of ideas, but I need your guys' input as to exactly what I should be doing. Everyone should upgrade from an Eastwood. Everyone, yeah. What about their new one though, Steve? They have it's not the POS 1000 now. It's like some other gun that's very similar in name. Yeah, Ray, they have a replacement now. I saw some review of it on some other channel. It honestly still looked just as bad as the previous one, but um, I don't know anything about it, or I'd give you some level of input for it, unfortunately. I just got the RC2. That's the Royal Coats one that somebody else brought up, I think. That's just a Chinese replica of a Gima or something, isn't it? Or some like random Chinese. No, it's not a replica though. It's something else. It's like, but it is a Chinese gun. That's the one that I thought was a replica, and it's not, if I remember correctly. How are people leaving comments on this that say like things like "Yes, I'm here"? I don't understand how that's even possible, because it shows it as a comment, not a chat comment thing. As a person who knows nothing, coverage, consumption, repairability, build quality, modularity, or aftermarket support. Those are all great answers, JL, especially you, somebody who's saying they don't know anything. Um, yeah, so my current plan right now is to go from I'm going to go from the bottom of the barrel, which would be Harbor Freight, obviously, up to. I have access to a Nordson, a brand new Nordson. Actually, it's still in the box, brand new. I don't think I'm going to be using that one, just because that gun is. It's so far away from, like, the only people who buy Nordsons are people who specifically want the most expensive gun. So, it's not the best gun by far. That's why people. It's not. They're only a little bit more expensive than Optiflex Pro, but they're not good enough to make the value. Like, people aren't buying them. So I doubt I'll use the Nordson, but I'm gonna do like Wagner and Gima Optiflex Pro. I'm working to get two other fairly high end guns sent to me specifically to do this testing. Oh yeah, that's Tom. That's one of the ones. Oddly enough, um, and I'm not getting these guns. I'm getting these guns simply to like test them out. Obviously, I'm not looking to purchase a gun. Um, but I'm gonna do what I plan to do is do the same exact tests with every single gun as long as I can. Some of them, obviously, with some guns with no adjustability, I'm not gonna be able to test them against a gun with adjustability as far as certain aspects of it. But my plan is to compare them and kind of break them into categories and then rank them in each of those categories and then rank them overall. Yeah, Steve, that's the other one. That one's been a nightmare, by the way, but I'm finally working through it. So I don't know. I should have brought the list. I had a whole list actually. The Gala 24 stand is the new one. Plus, it's bigger because it's got 2 and 4 in it. Also, watched the video when you powdered the big square tank white and was surprised that you could touch the tank while shooting and didn't get shocked. Ray, that's actually, I get that question a lot. The guy at my shop who does the hooking, he's the best hooker in the game, I say. Hold on here. He actually didn't get that concept for a long time. He was always afraid to touch racks if I was spraying or touch certain things if I was spraying, and you have to understand that electricity will choose the path of least resistance always. There's never a time that it won't do that. So if you have a ground hooked to it, it's going to choose to go through the ground unless you're making a better ground than your ground. And if you are doing that, you've got something wrong in your setup. So yeah, you can touch it. It's not going to do anything. Obviously, you don't want to be touching it, but there are certain projects that I do that I don't have a choice. I'm actually editing a video right now that the video is mostly to show the process of doing these particular things, but there are these big kiosks that go in parks, and it's like community billboard type things, or what? It's not billboard. It's not the word I'm looking for, but that you can like post up, jobs or lost pets or whatever, and there's a bunch of them, and in that I have to basically get inside this box to spray it. So I'm going to show the way that I do that, because I can stand when this thing is installed on the ground. I can stand up inside of it, but all my legs are visible. If that makes sense. This will make a lot more sense when the video is out, obviously. But having to try to spray in that was a real nightmare, and I did have to, lay up in it basically. It's the second time I've actually had to lay in something and spray it. I've done a boat that I had to lay in multiple different ways to spray, and that was a real nightmare. Let me see. Watch video. Oh no, that's that one. Some sort of standardization. Take a look at Obsessed Garage pressure washers. Test for inspiration. Oh, all right. Let me make a note of that. Why do I know? What's Obsessed Garage? Why do I know that name? Is that like probably some big name that I should know? Obsessed Garage. What do you say? Oh, pressure washer. Worst handwriting ever. All right, guys. Even better. Will there be a Bentley Molly cameo? Bentley and Molly are going to start popping up in the videos a little bit here and there. Trying to think of the best way to send this message. I need to send. Bentley and Molly really ultimately should be in every one, but it is tough to make that work. Molly's shy, and Bentley wants all the camera time. How's things, people in Yeshon actually made it to alive, but unfortunately still at my unit and it's silly hours in the morning. Well, you're to be fair, you're also on the other side of the country. Or other side of the world. Sorry, not country. You're on the other side of the world, Elliot. So, kind of makes sense. Shooting over fully cured Super Chrome Plus, is it? Belfed, yes, you have to shoot over fully cured Super Chrome. You have to fully cure Super Chrome to make it effective. So, I mean, I guess universally kind of the answer is yes right there. Bentley and Molly for the win. Yeah, I know. Everybody likes my dogs, probably more than me, which is fine because they're great dogs. But they're not super great at powder coating, if I'm going to be honest. You heard they want to be on the live. They're both literally just sleeping right here. Being bums. Anyway, so do you guys have any more questions? I feel like I've only technically been going for 7 minutes, but this has already been going on for much longer than that, obviously. 21 minutes now, it says. Are you cleaning your hooks between each use? That last huge powder job I did started with electric struggle to connect. The sparks were flying all over. I have two answers to that, actually. No, I don't clean my hooks between each use because we just use new hooks. The advantage of having a chemical strip tank is when you get enough hooks to fill, we have this big basket. It's a basket for like a deep fryer type situation, like a commercial deep fryer. We just put hooks in that are used, and then when it gets full, we put it in the chemical stripper overnight, and then in the morning we just take it out and pressure wash them all off. So we pretty much don't use dirty hooks at this point. I made a big fit about doing it because I don't like to do it. Especially on some of the bigger stuff that we do, you know, with big, huge hooks. Once there's not a good ground and you're doing a huge metal part that's already having like its own little issues, you definitely don't want to be using dirty hooks. But I actually shot a video yesterday that I'm going to make a YouTube short. I'll put the YouTube short up tomorrow with a little trick if you're having issues mostly because of dirty hooks and you can't get around it because your part's already hung and it's partially sprayed. I have a little trick to get you past whatever issue you're probably having with grounding. So check I think I have a shorts thing on here. You just got to go to the YouTube shorts and see it. Let's see. Belfed. I'm getting shocked when I touch my rack. So, Belfed, that really just means that your ground is bad. You need to ground the rack better. I don't know what your ground currently is, so I don't actually have any advice on how to ground it better. Lots of people have to go in through a ground rod. You know, they'll put a ground rod, like an 8-foot rod down in the ground, usually a copper rod, and then hook their ground straight to that or their rack straight to that. Depends on the setup, obviously. I don't do that. We're grounded straight to the building, the frame of the building. It's a big steel frame building. Our electrician, when we were putting the new booth in, we went kind of back and forth on the right way to do it or the best way to do it. And he did a little bit of testing, basically testing resistance, and figured out that I could just go straight to the steel beams on the hull, you know, that create the building. So, anyway, my point is do better the ground. Belfed, yeah. So the reason that if you've seen in some of my, or a bunch of my videos, you'll see foil over all the bars where everything's hanging. That's basically just so that the rack doesn't get powder built up on it. It's obviously much easier to change out the foil than it is to grind down the racks all the time. I've been doing that for a long time, like a couple of years now. You don't have to do it every time. You can get multiple layers usually on the foil and it will still be fine. And then you just strip it down and redo it. If you buy, you know, Costco brand or Kirkland brand, whatever, Costco foil, we order it in bulk, so we'll get like a huge thing of it. But it ends up being pretty cheap, honestly, and it's much better than dealing with the nonsense of bad grounds, clearly. Oh yeah, I guess if you guys are down, multiple people in here, like 20-something viewers, hit that like button. That'll pop this up in front of more people. These first couple lives I've done haven't been very big. We used to have over 100 people in lives. So we're going to get to that point again, especially once I start doing lives really consistently. Tom, how's that new oven? Dude, the new oven is amazing. There's a couple things on it that I don't like, but they're just like user interface stuff. The oven itself has been great. We had a kind of a weird rattle that developed. For you guys that don't know, just assembled a Roner oven, huge, you know, natural gas oven. And I'm not going to say that I did it by myself, but I did it basically by myself. And I actually have a video that I'm going to put up that shows the entire thing, start to finish, and why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. But the oven's great. We had, like I said, a rattle on the top, where the blower fan, you know, like the clearing fan that blows air out of the top to vent. The platform that's sitting on just started rattling, and we went up and tightened all the bolts. It wasn't an issue with the bolts being tight. It was almost like, you know, there's a support beam that goes across, and there's another panel that lays on top of that, and they were rattling against each other, and the bolts were tight. Just sounds ridiculous, obviously. So we just undid the bolts and we shoved. I think we actually used pieces of Teflon because I had them. These like 1/4-inch pieces of Teflon between it as like a spacer. and it's been fine ever since. Actually, it seems quieter than it did when it was brand new. The rest of the stuff on the, on the oven that I don't like is all user interface stuff. You know, we have this digital display that makes it all, it's supposed to make it all nice, but the digital display looks like it's from a computer from, I don't know, 30 years ago. It's color, but it's just not cool looking. So, did I get a new Tiger rep? No. Tom, we've been dealing directly with a Tiger, like a head guy, trying to work through the problems. We did just place another order. It seemingly is going a little bit quicker because I think we're supposed to be getting it tomorrow or Monday. And that would have been the fastest Tiger order that we've gotten from anybody in the last probably year. Or fastest Tiger order we've gotten from Tiger in the last year that we've been dealing with this nonsense. I'm in the first stages of building a 4x3x8 tall oven. 4x3x8. So it's 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide, 3 feet deep, I guess. That's a pretty effective oven. You can do like bumpers and all the big parts. And 3 by, yeah. I mean, that's actually a pretty good oven size. 4x4x6 is kind of the standard, or something close to 4x4x6. But if you can't do like big bumpers, you can't do certain like stretched frames and stuff for like ATVs and stuff like that. So 8's actually probably a good move. Probably a good choice. 6 heating elements seems like too many. A 4x4x6 only needs 2. I would do 4 heating elements to ramp the temperature up and have 2 of those elements just shut off once it's up to temperature. I don't know if you're like in a position to or already know how to do all that stuff, obviously, but you can do that. Belfed, yeah. Unfortunately, I have tried cardinal powder, and I can say unquestionably it is the worst powder that I have ever sprayed. I was gonna say worse than Harbor Freight, but it's actually not. Harbor Freight's matte black sprays really well. It's very consistent. I've used it a couple different times at random. I hate cardinal powder. I hate it. I like their BK08 is okay. WH11 for a gloss white is okay. It's very transparent, so you pretty much have to 2-coat all of it. BK120. There's a couple of the BKs, a couple of the blacks that I like, but most of them aren't great. I avoid cardinal powder as much as possible. Their clears are all trash. Their clears are all yellow. They're just too much of a nightmare to deal with. The problem that I have is that Cardinal is very local, so they can bring us powder very quickly. So I mean, it has its benefits, but I do not like Cardinal powder. Oregon Trail graphics, yeah, pretty close, Steve. Pretty close. Their color, and I don't think Oregon Trail was color. I don't remember. Maybe it was like 6 color or something. Can you convince Green Diamond to distribute to the Northeast? So, James, on Monday, so last week, or whenever I did the last Q&A, I guess it was maybe 2 weeks ago. No, it was last week, right? Anyway, I sent a bunch of your guys' messages to the Green Diamond rep that I deal with. I don't deal with him directly. He's a guy that I text with. He doesn't actually even cover my area. He covers where I used to live in Utah. And I showed him a bunch of this, and he's like, yeah, we've been working on it for a while. They're making some headway with it, but I don't have any great news about it still. So I am trying to get it out into more places. I have very little control over that, obviously. Not my company, or I have no stake in the company. And ultimately, they're going to sell it to whoever will buy it, but they need to get it out there for people to buy. So I'm working on it, but I can't help. Where am I at here? Green Parker, yeah. Parker got that green name. That's true. How do you prep extruded aluminum? Most of the time, just sandblast it. We have a couple jobs that we're not supposed to sandblast, or a couple very consistent jobs that we hit with a DA with 80 grit and then spray them. But blast pretty much everything. There's very little reason to not sandblast stuff, in my opinion, as far as the powder coating process goes. Make sure I can reply to this. All right. Oh, it's doing that scroll thing again. They're clear as they're clear as dog shit. Dude, their clear is the worst clear. CLO2, they're 20%. They say it's 20%. It's very close to like a 60% from every other company. Is not terrible. If I need a satin clear in a pinch, I will definitely grab that box. But I don't like their powder, and especially their clear. They have a chrome that doesn't look anything like chrome, but it is a very nice silver. I'll give them credit for that one. And spray's nice, that one. Powdering over chrome. Anyone have peeling problems? Ray, are you talking about over chrome powder or chrome plating? Because chrome plating, it'll adhere until you break contact. So if you get a chip in it, it's going to start failing pretty quickly. If you have an issue with it going over chrome, oh, you're going over chrome plating, yeah. You can powder coat. I have a video. I think I have more than one video powder coating over top of chrome plating. You can actually do that. Oh, sorry, I got caught up reading this. I feel like I just missed a question that I read, and now I can't find it. I did learn that it will not to black iron. Well, black iron that's prepped? It'll stick to black iron that's prepped, but it wouldn't technically be black iron at that point. You're talking about like when having like the scale on the outside, Ray? The black stuff on the outside, it won't stick to that. You're right, because it's the black stuff that you're seeing on the outside is essentially made of oil. Tell the company, yeah, Parker, that's a good point. A lot of you guys that want green diamond as a product, go to the places local to you who sell blast media and tell them that you want green diamond. The more people do that, the more willing they're going to be to bring it in. Like I said, I have no control over how fast it gets out to people, and where it gets to people. But it's just like anything else. You can go into anywhere and ask somebody, hey, do you guys sell this? And if they say no, if enough people start asking them to sell it, they're going to start ordering it because they're a business trying to make money, obviously. 710 doesn't need no sandblasting. Yeah, I know, Parker. Deep stage coming in with a green face. I don't know what the hell that is. Do you remove mill scale before you shoot steel? Yes. Belfed. For the reason I actually just described. I don't like... mill scale is... It's not oil. It's essentially the result of oil in a hot surface. I have sprayed over it. I actually just did a set of letters where... I don't remember why. The reason they wanted them sandblasted lightly, they gave a good reason. Normally we obviously just sandblast them, but we did some that we couldn't blast the mill scale off because they didn't want them like aggressively sandblasted, which was strange because they were going like a flat color and they were getting a flat clear over a color. So I don't know what they were too worried about, but I will go over it. I tend to not. I'll clean it really well, throw it in the oven to outgas, even though technically it doesn't need to outgas, and then I'll blast it and go from there. I have a hard time deciding. Oh, wait. So, Ray, if you're talking about the valve covers, as far as plating, as shooting over a chrome valve cover, the one thing I can say is that all of your masking should not end up with hard lines. And I know that's going to be hard on some valve covers, but let's just say hypothetically these are like small block Chevy covers that probably are chrome, right? The way that those mount with the gasket lip on the inside, you'll be fine because you're not going to have like a true hard line for the masking. But if you had to mask off where like the oil cap goes, that edge is going to be a fail point most of the time when you're going over a surface that you're not going to get good adhesion to. Hey, once again, if you guys don't mind, hit like on this video so we can get this video out in front of more people. David Haas, I have a hard time deciding what to mask for sandblasting, mainly with machine surfaces. So what I recommend, and this has worked for me for years, and I'm not saying it's the best way, just ask the customer. The customer is going to be ultimately the one that decides whether or not something should or should not have been masked. So ask them. Now, sometimes you have a customer who brings something in, they don't really know anything about it. I tend to use my best judgment. If it's a machine surface that was masked off during previous finishing, I'll mask it. If not, I don't. Um, I'm fairly mechanical. I've toyed with cars for I don't know 30 years now, or nearly 30 years. So I have a good understanding of what needs masking in relation to like car parts, bikes, motorcycles, things of that nature. So if you have mechanical ability, you probably know what to mask. And if not, I mean, you can always go post in the UKC Army group, for example, is a great place to ask a question and see if at least you're on the same page or on the right path with the masking that you're going to be doing. Totally just lost this page. All right, let's see. I was asking me to see customers wanting window trim. Oh, Belf. Okay. Customers wanting window trim, but that window trim is not normally chrome. It's normally polished stainless steel. Very rarely is it chrome. Um, if it's chrome, you're gonna have to get that chrome off because it's not gonna hold up. IFS powder and Tiger powder and clear are the best. Yeah, I would say from a straight like consistent spray standpoint, IFS and Tiger are the two best by far. Like the quality, I guess, of the powder, um, they are the best. I mean, yeah, no debate for that. All right, scroll back down here. They have firework proof. Yeah, and BB gun. Don't forget BB gun proof, and drag it behind your car proof. John Sell. Trying to master multiple cure times, clear times when you shut your oven off is at the flash or as soon as it reaches the cure temp. Well, I mean, you shouldn't be shutting your oven off. I don't know your setup, but I don't know. John Sell, can you expand kind of on what you're talking about here? I don't want to overload you with information if I'm answering the wrong question. Chef, your oven is. You shouldn't be Carker. You shouldn't be shutting the oven off. Trying to flow something out per manufacturer instructions simply more than the powder visually flows and glosses over what's flowed out. Yeah. Yeah, if you're just going to like flash something, it's right when it rolls over from like, you spray it on, it's like a matte finish, like a chalky looking finish. It'll go kind of matte and then into like a satin right as it changes over to a gloss finish. Even a flat powder, matte powder, whatever, they're all going to be glossy in the process of flashing over. Right when it gets to that gloss point, that's the flashy. I mean, that's like the flash. So illusions, they'll tell you 2 or 3 minutes. Flash it, and then 2 or 3 minutes of time. That's when you'd start your timer. If you're doing second coats, I usually don't even let it get quite to the glossy stage. I'll let it. When I say 2 coats, I mean 2 coats of the same color. I'll let it get most of the way, like it's about to flash over. It'll still be kind of in that satiny, questionable stage. Obviously, depending on the part too, you have different metal thicknesses and different. If you have a rack full of parts, they're all going to be a little bit different. It doesn't have to be perfect in that regard. So as long as you're in the window, I think you'll be fine. Yeah, Parker, that's exactly true. It's not rocket science. It's easy to overthink, and that's I think a lot of what happens, especially with new coders. They stress themselves out, like thinking about the problems, like thinking about what's supposed to go on. And honestly, the UKC Army Facebook group is great for questions like that. I see a lot of questions that I've actually got a message. I got a message probably like a week ago, and somebody was like, "Why is there always so many like bad noob questions in the UKC Army Facebook group?" And I was like, because that's what people are supposed to be doing in there. Like, you can ask. I mean, I've seen guys who have been powder coating for years that will still ask questions because they still need information. But ultimately, like, in that group is to share information. So there aren't really bad questions in it. I have the electron gun. Seems to work well. Have you ever used one? No. I don't. Is the electron gun the one that I keep seeing? It's like $350. It's just like a. I I don't know. It's like a weird box. I don't know how to explain it. I was gonna say it looks like a powder coating gun box, but that's stupid. Because there are that electron gun. I assume is the one that I've been seeing around. I know you're a powder coat guy, but curious on Cerakote. I sprayed Cerakote like half the day today. On say a radiator, would you scuff the end tanks or spray raw? The end tanks, I would sandblast them. You're supposed to sandblast everything that you're doing Cerakote prep on. I've even done it on plastic end tanks. I don't know what kind of plastic they are, but I've sandblasted those. You just turn the pressure way down. How do you combat extreme rust after blasting? Leak pitting. Time the rust starts to repair. Damn, Luke, where do you live that they're rusting within 20 minutes? Like that flash rust? That's pretty crazy. I know there's chemicals that you can spray on immediately after blasting. I don't have that problem. I live in Washington, pretty humid, and I'll sandblast, something will be sandblasted and it'll sit for a week and not get rust on it. Cast iron stuff where you have like the kind of weird pitting, like the deep pitting that rust, like it'll be rusty when you pull it out from sandblasting kind of a thing. That stuff does it occasionally, but even that's pretty rare. So far, Prismatic has given me the best customer service and delivery times. Yeah, Ray, admittedly, for like job shops and hobby coders and stuff, Prismatic's hard to beat, honestly. Their ordering system is the best one by far. I mean, nobody even comes close to being able to process orders the way that they do. The only real problem with Prismatic sometimes is if you're buying huge quantities, there's no real discount. And when you're used to buying big box powders where you're paying $4 a pound for buying a 55-pound box, it's kind of a bummer when you go to Prismatic and that powder is still $11.52 a pound and you have to buy 55 pounds. That's really the only thing that I dislike about Prismatic. Plus, their change to FedEx for shipping has been really negative. Not only to myself, but multiple people in the industry. I've seen a lot of complaining about it. I don't really have any control over that, obviously. And I don't know what happened. They went away from UPS to FedEx. But that's been a nightmare. Are you going to get back into the custom 2 and 3 piece wheel game? Yeah, I'm actually working on a video. Oddly enough, Tom, the video that I was shooting yesterday and today are a set of faces that came in, 3-piece wheels, a set of faces that came in from a guy who watches the channel. I believe he actually is a powder coater. Shout out to Ashton. I don't know if you're here or not, but I just did a set of wheels for him, some old Weds. So you'll be seeing those in a video. That video actually will go up tomorrow or Saturday, I think. But yeah, Tom, I'm going to get back into it. I have a bunch of wheel faces right now sitting, waiting to go through. And then I got kind of a weird situation that I'm going to have to show people how to assemble a style wheel that I've never really showed on the channel before. They're called Real Daytonas. If you guys are huge wheel nerds, you know what that is. Where the face and the barrel are one piece and the lip is a separate piece, and there's actually an O-ring to seal it. Much different, obviously, than throwing silicone in. Belfed, what air compressor is a Rogers? Oh, what horsepower? It's a 30 horse. Oh, just kidding. It's a 50 horse now. It's 50 horse now. The gun tip size, I just use a standard fan tip on both Gimas, actually, the Pro and the 2B Optiflex. John said, awesome, you answered it perfectly. Thanks, Sean and Parker. Oh, well, glad to help. Any new coders, just remember, Parker, the powder will tell you what it's going to do when it cures. Almost every time the way it lays dictates the cure. Slow down and try to pay attention and you'll learn. Parker, you should start a channel, dude. Charging and doing wheels is a pain. People want them done for $100 and it ain't worth my time. Yeah, I mean, I've never had anybody that wanted their wheels done for $100, but I built kind of my whole career about doing wheels, so that was, I don't think anybody came to me with the understanding that I even might do wheels for $100. I'm doing just a set of faces right now for much more than that. Yeah, I appreciate it. Never... Oh, nice. All right, nice, John Fell. Belfed, 3,500. Wait, what's 3,500? Parker, sandblast the entire radiator before powder coat. Oh, before Cerakote. Yeah, and then use that heat dissipation coating on the actual radiator part. That's the real move. That's absolutely the move. That stuff works like a champ, by the way. Oh, Electron Master Box is $3,500? Okay, well, I must be talking about a different one. Let's take a look at this thing. Is this the Electron Eco? Oh, these are the ones from Turkey. So what's funny is these people, I didn't realize that that's what this was. That's the reason that the name was so familiar to me. These people have been contacting me wanting to advertise on the YouTube channel, and I don't know anything about them. $3,500 is a nice middle of the road price. Is that about? Oh, they have weird. Oh, look at these units are strange. Huh. Electron.com.tr, by the way, if you guys, anybody else wants to look those up. It looks like that's kind of a decent middle of the road gun, but I don't know anything about their guns, to be fair. So, Luke, Central PA is Rust Belt. Got it. Yeah, I don't, I know there's chemicals that you can spray on to stop rust from happening, like flash rust from happening. I mean, 20 minutes is insane. I can't even imagine 20 minutes later all my parts are rusty. I would look into whatever chemicals there are. I've never had to use them. I bet one of the guys in here probably knows exactly what that chemical is. Electron is what right now in First and Finishing are selling. They're about 4K for a box feed. What the hell's First and Finishing? Is that the guy who does repairs? Isn't that the guy who does repairs, Steve? James Davis, do you dial down your settings on extremely humid days? I had the shop doors cracked today, and it was raining and humid. Was having back ionization issues. Oh, yeah, that you're gonna get that if it's super humid, or it's easier to get if it's super humid. One thing to do if you're having back ionization issues due to humidity, to spray the part from further away. I know that's the simplest way because you're gonna get the positive charge is gonna diffuse. The positive charge stays longer in humid air. So spraying from slightly further away, it's going to diffuse that a little bit for you. That's kind of the answer no matter what if you have back ionization. It's either a bad ground or you're too close to the part, or your settings are way off. I don't change my settings based on the weather at all that I've noticed, at least. I don't change my settings too many. I have probably 9 programs set up on each gun, and I usually know exactly which one I'm going to jump to when I look at the part and find out the color. Ray, UPS is the worst service in Juneau, Alaska. Oh, yeah. Being in Alaska changes the game. Most of us aren't in Alaska, so we don't have to deal with that. Parker, 100 each if you're coding at home. Yeah, 100 each is reasonable. Cardinal and Phoenix has the same Kremlin open box for sale for over a year. Yeah. I know. We just got offered a Wagner from a Cardinal dealer. Another one, by the way. The commercial shop that's part of us has a Wagner and an Optiflex Pro. And there's 2 sprayers over there, and they argue about which one's better constantly. So, yeah, $3,500 gun is going to take a while to pay off. But you'll get to a point, at least that's how it seems to be, you'll get to a point where you want to spend more money on a gun because the better gun will make you your money quicker. And it will allow you to do jobs that maybe a lower end gun can't do, which then you can, of course, charge more and make your money back. Michael, let's see. That was the idea. Heat exchanger, transfer gray, Cerakote. Didn't know how to go about doing the fins. You can blast them. You can blast them the same way. Normally you just back off a little bit, or you can turn your pressure way down. You got to remember, radiator fins, they are still metal, you know? But yeah, you can do the whole thing. It's not a big deal. Deep stage. Oh yeah, OSFO. Is that how you pronounce that, Steve? I'm just kind of going off the cuff with that. Is the rust inhibitor. So Luke, you were looking for something to stop your stuff from rusting, and it sounds like that's probably the move. Oh, and Tom came in with hold tight for flash rest. So, uh, two things you can do it. Belfed Electron has given me great customer service. Belfed, when you have to contact them, are you contacting Turkey? Because I believe that's where it was from, if I remember correctly. Deep Stage, yes, his son Mason McClung. Wait, who is that? Who Deep Stage? Who is? Oh, that's the guy. Sorry, I asked you if that's who does repairs, first, first and finish or whatever. Damn, I live in Northeast PA and don't get flash resting that quick. Yeah, I mean, 20 minutes would be insane. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that, God, I mean, I would go insane if my parts were rusted 20 minutes after. Am I the only one that's had flash fire with powder and only happened once? No, Ray. I actually had that happen too in a booth. The very first booth that I ever made was out of wood, I think, and drywall, and it had fans on the back to move air. And I was powder coating with, I think, the Hypersmooth HSO2, and I had shut the fans off for the day, and I was like, oh, I want to coat this real quick and throw it in the oven with these other parts. And I did that, and I had the little flash, like, I don't want to say like explosion, but like it catches all the powder on fire that's in the booth floating in the air. If you have that happen, is because you don't have enough airflow. The only way that that can happen actually is because there is no airflow. It's the powder is suspended in air, and you got the ratio just right, and then the spark from the gun sets it off. I had it happen once. I don't know if it like scared me. I understood what happened right away. It was my dumbass just not turning the fans on, or turning them back on. Let's see. For flash rusting, use deoxidine. Well, there you go. You have 3 answers now to help with the flash rust, Luke. Hopefully those are helpful. Nobody wants to buy. It's been sitting in the lobby. Oh, yeah, Parker. I've heard kind of mixed reviews. I've heard that as a gun, it's okay. If something goes wrong, the repairs are a nightmare, and the customer service has sucked. But I don't know anything beyond that on the Sames Kremlin stuff. Belfed, I think your followers would like the information if looking for an oven. Wait, what information? Did I miss something? Frank, broad question. What's a good rack size setup for a 6x10 oven? Or 6x8x10? Like a spray rack? So what I would recommend, the thing that sucks is it's really going to depend on the type of jobs you're doing. I'm a big proponent of having a rack that will fill your oven, so you can load it with parts. And I like ones, we have cube racks at the shop where it's, the OD of the cube, the outside size, will fit into the oven pretty tight. It doesn't have to be like right up against the walls, obviously. And then there's bars adjustable on top of that you can hang parts from. That works like a champ. Then we have 2 other smaller, racks that you can fit 2 in the oven at the same time. And that setup works really well, in my opinion. So I don't know if you're in a position to have multiple racks, or you want those. I don't know if you want multiple racks like in your shop, just hanging out. My suggestion has always been for racks is to build the racks based on the jobs that you have, because those ultimately are what's going to matter the most. Hey guys, I don't know how many likes we have because it doesn't show me that part in this particular thing, but if you haven't hit the like on this fine video if you wouldn't mind. Belfed, you will be buying one. Let's see. The confidence that a high quality machine can give you is sort of priceless. Yeah, I mean the difference between going from even like a decent hobby gun, like a Hypersmooth or something, up into a pro gun. The pro gun, assuming that you understand the settings or it was pre-set up to be decent, will blow your mind. I had nothing but success with my HSO2 and I loved it. the first time that I sprayed an Optiflex Pro, I was like, oh, what have I been doing? Like, why did I wait this long? Because they are literally that much better, and I can't expand on it enough to describe it, but they are literally that much better. So, if you're in a position to get a good gun, I really tell people now, if you're just gonna do hobby stuff, you can get a hobby gun, like a $1,000 or less gun. But if you plan on doing this as a career, I would spend as much money as you can on a gun, because that gun, especially like the high end stuff, is going to last forever-ish. I mean, they're all gonna have their own little problems, but it's not gonna force you to learn. No, that sounds wrong, because I do want you to learn on a crappier gun too. But it'll get you past a lot of the headaches naturally. Now, once again, I think that you should have headaches in this process. I think that you should have to have struggles, because it's going to teach you how to deal with them if you don't have that pro gun, or that pro gun's acting up for some reason. But strongly suggest buying the best gun you can. Steve Cameron, hi from Australia. I finished my coding. Oh, welcome. This is where I'm supposed to make like a kangaroo joke or a shrimp on the Barbie joke because you're Australian, but I'm not going to do that because I know that's stupid. I don't know if I've had followers. I didn't realize I had followers in Australia. I know I have 2 people in New Zealand. It's basically the same thing, even though I know you guys hate each other, or one of you dislikes the other or something. I keep asking if they still want $5,000 for it. Parker. Belfed, where are you in Washington? Make Z carts, they stow away in small space. Midwest Metalworks builds powder coating ovens. They seem responsibly priced. I've never heard of Midwest Metalworks, but I'm not doubting that in any way. Ted's Fab still makes ovens. They still make the oven that I had, and it was apparently awesome. Just checked there, 18 likes, 19 likes. Thanks, guys. Have a big rack that maximizes my oven, and several Z-shaped carts fit 2 in the oven at the same time. We don't need them. Yeah. They love when you tell them New Zealand and Australia are basically the same place. I know they're not, but like, when you don't live in one of those places, they're basically the same place. Like, I'm sure they feel the exact same way about like America and Canada or some. I don't know. That's probably a bad reference, but similar. Scott Limborn, what do we join to get access to answers to questions? Wait, Scott, I'm answering the questions here. If you got a question here, buddy, I'll answer it. You don't have to join anything. I mean, you join this chat. That'll do. I have powdered a ton of shit with my Eastwood gun, but I know I need to step up and would love to find a quality $1,000 gun. Yeah. Hopefully, I guess now that there's more people in here, maybe I can ask this question again. I'm going to be doing a gun comparison with multiple, from the bottom of the barrel, Harbor Freight, or Craftsman technically also has one, up to at least a Gema Optiflex Pro. So I want to know what you guys want to see in that comparison. I know that there's new people in here. Some of you guys already heard this question. But if you guys have any suggestions, I'd love to hear it. Washougal. Why do I know where that is? That sounds south, right? That's down basically to Oregon, I think. Or like Camas? Is that right? I don't know where the places are, dude. It's got to be pretty close. I think it's just like east of Vancouver. I'm an expert. What's a good height for racks? Well, the height needs to be whatever will fit in your oven, because you're going to be hanging stuff from it. So, assuming that the rack rolls into your oven, that's all that really matters. And into your booth, assuming that your booth is taller than your oven, which it should be. Northeast Powder Coating wants to send me a message. Get rack thread going on the page to show off what you came up with. Yeah, Parker, you can actually start that on the UKC Army group. CPX rods, the powder gun comparison. I made some. I recorded a bunch of video before, and I realized that I wasn't doing the comparison in a way that would be beneficial to people who didn't already know a lot about powder coating guns, if that makes sense. And so I'm redoing it. Honestly, it's going to take me at least a month. I would assume that sometime like midsummer, the videos are going to come out, and I don't know how many parts it's going to be. There's going to be so much footage. I'm going to have to try to break it up. I don't know if I'm going to break it up by gun or by like what I'm comparing across each gun. But I want to do a comparison, like I said, of every single gun against one another and give that some sort of rating to be able to like better explain to you guys. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it yet. Still coming up with ideas. If you guys have ideas, let me know. All right, let me catch up with these. Let's see. JWC, I'm having trouble putting clear over vinyl. What's the vinyl that you're using? Over what color? And what color vinyl is it? When I say what vinyl you're using, I mean what brand. Ravies, get a cool coat from Columbia Coatings. They give good support. That is true. Columbia's always been great. Harbor Freight gun does suck. LOL, my wife is from New Zealand. Cameron, answer this question if you don't mind. I don't want to get too deep into like the politics of Australia and New Zealand. Isn't it like one of you guys doesn't like the other and the other one doesn't really care either way or something? I always hear about it. I don't know what the what the deal could possibly be. Ernie bidding multiple coats. Ernie, this just says multiple coats. What are you asking? Come to my shop and you can use my electron gun. Oh yeah, because you just said you're in Washington. The problem is I need to do the gun comparison at my shop. So what I want to do is the gun comparison at my shop so that all the variables are the same. Like I'm minimizing differences. If I go somewhere else, I have different ground, different boot. I mean, there's so many other variables that I don't want that to negatively affect how this stuff all goes. I like the comparison goes. So, I don't know. We can talk and see if we can figure something out. Mason B, do you have anything against installing a reclamation system in a blast room? No. No. They're great. I'm lazy enough that sounds great. A sweep-in Clemco bucket elevator style, or is there better options? I think Steve and Tom were just talking about these systems, I think, in our group chat. I don't know necessarily what they came up with. I didn't read a ton into that just because I don't have a system like that, and I'm not going to be getting one. But I know that lots of places use reclaim systems, so can't be bad. Scotland born. I am shooting super durable black prismatic, and I'm getting what I think are craters. I have stripped these things 3 times, blasted them. They are aluminum motorcycle fork tubes, and I have a... When you say craters, so like back ionization? Like, they look like rounded little... Well, I'm going to say craters, aren't I? Damn. Well, they look like rounded little dips in the parts, or in the powder, rather. I assume that the parts don't have those, or at least you said you've done them 3 times, so I assume they're in kind of different places. One thing I would suggest, I know most of the motorcycle fork tubes I outgas for a really long time because they tend to leak stuff out constantly, and you don't see it. So, whoa. Parker, Sean, explain more about behind building racks for your jobs. Typing is hard. Well, when I say building racks for the jobs, I mean like if you're a guy who does nothing but wheels, you should have racks that are set up to do nothing but wheels, like that are just they're built with the fact that you do wheels in mind. If you do, big plate steel bumpers or lift kits and stuff, you should have racks that are designed more specifically for that. If you do just brake calipers, your rack should be catering to stuff like that. I'm a big advocate of making your life as simple as possible, because ultimately, if you're doing nothing but wheels and you decide to get into something else, not only could you probably adapt that rack into something else, but you can always build another rack if you had to. And so building a rack specific to your jobs is always going to be my recommendation. It's just there was one of the places I did consulting. They had like 80 racks. They had two different styles, but they had 80 racks, and there was I think 60 of one and 20 of the other. And the racks were caked in powder, so I ended up having them replaced. They built all new racks, and I helped design both styles based on what they do. Now, they were powder coating lots of different shape parts and sort of different size parts, but they were almost always, they only sprayed 6 colors at this shop. So everything they were doing was kind of the same. They it was a manufacturing place, and they were manufacturing parts and then powder coating them. So we built their racks in a way that would be beneficial for both of the types of jobs that they were doing. And they're actually, I just talked to one of the guys from there yesterday, and they're still using those exact same racks, haven't made any changes. And so once again, just you build your racks to what you need, as opposed to like settling. Don't just build a rack because it fits in your oven. Build something that's going to be beneficial to you in your process. I would say Columbia Coatings KK171, but they're discontinued right after I bought mine. Oh, well, you're no help at all then, aren't you, David? New Zealand has really good gold, and their rules are good. Australia, on the other hand, does not like dredging the same with Tasmania. What? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. And you're in Alaska, so gold is like the thing. Redline Easy 50 or Easy 100. I got an Easy 100 to do in the gun comparison. Belfed, I'll send you a message with my contact info. Perfect. Parker, yeah, let's do a show me your rack thread. Dude, you're technically already seeing my rack. Dan B joining late, just finished building a new rack. Oh, well, good timing. Belfed, shoot me a message. We'll talk. I don't necessarily want to like commit into something like that right away, being that I don't know you. But if you wanted to come up, I'll have you up and have you in the shop to do that part of the comparison with that gun. Because what I'm going to do is the comparisons, I'm going to do a job, a gun comparison each day, and then edit all the video together, because that's really the best way that I can think to do it. Joining late, let's see. Well, let's see. Steve, what do you know? Steve knows most of the things. Ray, fish eyes. I don't know why you're saying fish eyes at random. I'm probably a little behind. Steve showed an air powder vacuum attachment. Wait, what? What is that, Tom? I don't know what that thing is. God, am I this far behind you guys? I'm sorry. Dan B, I believe a comparison should include price, Faraday efficiency, transfer efficiency, and cleaning time. Let me look at my list of things. Yeah. I have those, all 4 of those on there. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, I've been asking in my group chat, and then I've asked a couple other like powder coat friends kind of the best way to do this, because I think I'm going to go on a couple like powder coating groups, which I left most of, so I don't know how many I'll actually be in, but I'm going to go there and try to get some more information as well, maybe somewhere like Reddit, and because I really want to make this comparison video, or this series, because it's going to have to be a series, I want it to be like really beneficial to people, because I'm going to spend way too much time doing it, so I want people to really benefit from it. I'm using prismatic powders, Mirror Black, and Oracal 651 vinyl, and Columbia Coatings low temp clear over the vinyl. What color is the vinyl that you're using, JWC? Because that actually does matter. There are certain vinyls that you can't do it with. Certain color vinyls, sorry, that you can't do it with. No, we need to have a healthy rivalry, but if one of us attacked, we come together. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, Cameron. Being in, America, we always just hear shit about some sort of beef. Rivalry is fine, right? Like, that's not a big deal. America does that just fine, obviously. But I just always hear there was like weird shenanigans between the two. Do I blast after outgassing? Yes, there are round dips in the powder. Scott, is it only on those shock tube forks? I'm trying to decide if it's on other parts, like if you hang a sample panel and spray that sample panel at the same time, is the sample panel also getting that? Because if the sample panel doesn't, that means it's your part. And if the sample panel is, that means it's likely your air coming in or maybe something in your prep process. Dan B, welcome. Oh, hey, thanks, Dan. And Scott, thanks. So one thing I guess I should make you guys aware of is I am going to be changing this whole the whole member thing on here, and I'm only going to be changing it for the positive. You guys are actually going to get more benefits and actually for less money depending on the program that you're doing. But I appreciate your memberships currently. You guys will get a message, I think, from YouTube when I do the changes, and you just have to accept those. James Davis, what is the story with you moving states and doing a much bigger shop that seems more industrial focused? Did you find a partner that allowed you to scale up, or did you start working for someone? Actually, neither one, James. Kind of a mixed thing. I actually, I have a video that I was gonna put out. The video of me building the new oven, the new Roner oven. I do this kind of voiceover and sort of an interview thing. I did an interview for a guy's school project, and we were going to use some of the audio for that and kind of voice it over. I think I want to answer your question, but I think wait till the video comes out because it's going to explain it in a lot more detail than I'm going to be able to explain here. It is neither one of those things, but is a kind of a mix of both. I don't work for somebody, but I also don't have a partner necessarily. It's complicated. Parker, Drake or Kendrick? Neither one. I don't care. I don't understand the beef. I listen to it. I'm a huge hip hop nerd. I listen to the beef. It is a terrible beef. The songs are all terrible. I've never been a fan of either one of these artists, so it doesn't matter to me. Air powered vacuum for blast room, and it just like picks up the air. Tom, is that what you're saying? Left the group. Zach Leader Racing. Any input on building your own oven? It's kind of like the gun thing. I think you should build as big of an oven as you can that you can utilize. And I think you should build it with the idea that you might want to make it bigger later. If you buy a prefabricated oven, most of them are not set up in a way that you'll be able to expand it without a lot of work. I think that you should build an oven to accomplish whatever your goal is in the moment and be in a position to scale that oven up if you want. Now, in electric ovens, you're not going to be able to scale it too huge. You're not going to be able to go up too much in size, obviously, because at some point electric becomes far less efficient. Now, if it's a gas oven, you can just kind of ever expand by going to larger gas stuff. That's definitely going to be the move. Do you have any recommendations for an air dryer after a 375 CFM diesel compressor? I've seen some people making their own. You can make your own. Mason, it's really going to depend on how much humidity you have to deal with. If you live in a very humid environment, the chances that you're going to be able to make your own that's going to dry your air, effectively cool your air, which is, as a result, will be drier air. The chance that you're going to be able to make one of those like homemade ones that works really well is not great. Now, if you live in somewhere that doesn't have crazy humidity, you could probably get away with doing those. And there's lots of videos online that show you how to do them for any air compressor, not just specific to blasting or anything. You can also contact the manufacturer of your compressor and say, hey, what do you guys recommend for an air dryer setup? Because they normally have one that works really well with their systems, typically, I should say. We did we have that with we have a Rogers compressor and a Rogers dryer. The dryer was fine for a while, but has now turned into a nightmare and is very expensive to repair. So we're actually looking at other options because it spent $1,200 or $1,400 on the repair and it didn't fix the problem. So that was cool. Have a new customer with some vet wheels that wants gloss black and clear. I've been using Columbia OEM black with great success. Yeah, I think that's Tom likes that black as well. Tom Russo. With great success, but don't love the look of it with clear over it. Why do you not like the look with the clear over it, Dan? Like, what is the issue that you're running into? Hey, Parker, look how many green names there are in here now. Just saying. I'm using silver and gold vinyl colors. So that's silver you can get away with. The gold, the way that it's made up is different, and it's going to cause probably its own issues. What is happening, JWC, what is the issue that you're running into? You said you have a hard time getting it to go over the vinyl. Let me know what the problem is. BBL Drizzy? What? I don't know what that means, Parker. What is the best bronze to match Ray's wheels? Tano 89. So the problem with bronze Ray's wheels, specifically, you're going to be like Volks. There's multiple different colors of bronze, and there always have been. Now you have OG bronze, which is an old anodized finish that doesn't look the same now as it did when it was new, because anodizing fades over time. You're never going to find a match that will do the lip with the machined look and do the face. A lot of people, I don't know the right way to explain this. You can do bronzes and then put clears over them to make it match the face of that wheel, but that cannot be used to do the lip of that same wheel, because that's a transparent bronze. So if you're trying to match both of them, it's not going to work. I can just look up the media that goes to a hopper over the top of your blast pot for easy filling of blast pots. Oh, that sounds cool. Have you guys ever seen, they're like a pressurized blast cabinet? I don't know. I used to, when I was like 15, I worked at a Pontiac restoration place. And I remember using a blast cabinet that it was a pressure pot, but it was constantly fed media. And I had to hit a thing with my knee while I was blasting. And it would like dump the media back in. Have you guys ever seen those? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? I probably sound like an idiot. Dan B, just don't use any clear. Explain to the customer. It will hold up just as well as a single stage. It will save them money and save you headaches. You're the pro, not them. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I don't think... I've never had an issue putting clear over black, but it doesn't need to go over gloss black. So, OEM black doesn't need clear. Leave it as is, or turn milky and grayish. Oh, so that must be a thing maybe with that specific color. Because I can put clear over, wet black from Tiger, or super wet black from IFS, for example, and it doesn't get milky. Might also depend on the clear that you're using too. That's going to be a big variable. Bengal clear for both of those has been fine for me. Customers really do enjoy Highland bronze with Casper clear. Yeah, it's a pretty close match to Volk bronze, or Ray's bronze. I felt like it lost some depth. I was wondering if your thoughts on clear over. Dan B, so you're saying that putting the clear over it lost some depth? It probably would, because you're getting the reflection off of the clear now, not the black. What clear are you using? That's probably going to make the bigger deal. Clear over flat black looks terrible. It always looks milky. Try Columbia Clodines, wheel clear. Clarity is better. Also good over super chrome. Not perfect, but the best solution I've found. The best thing I've found over super chrome, if you're going for like just a traditional clear, is Bengal clear. If you are looking for something like, I don't know. There's multiple different clears that have been good. Tiger's Bengal clear is probably the best, in my opinion, the best way to go. You can use an acrylic clear. I've had really good success with those. My thoughts are, you tell them how the job should be done. Oh, yeah. DIY welding plans. Saw one of those on Alibaba and didn't understand it at the time, but they were selling it and saying it was way better. DIY welding plans. What are we talking about? What am I missing out on here? The vinyl is shrinking. Is it shrinking so it's making like a textured finish in the clear? Like it's like effing the finish of the clear? Have you tried it with other colors, JWC? Trinco reclaiming blast cabinet. Just like a reclaiming system in a blast room. Oh, okay, so I'm not crazy. This one, even back then, I mean, that would have been 1996 probably that I was using this one. It seemed like an old blast cabinet even back then. I didn't know anything about powder coating or sandblasting or anything. I was just like a shop nerd that had to figure things out as I went. The elitist weirdos think you can't powder coat forge wheels anyways. I know, but there's that video now that makes it a lot more clear that Ray's powder coats all of their wheels now. All of their wheels. So it's not even a debate anymore. It's a brand new video. Columbia Super Duty wheel clear. I never used that. I know there's a couple guys in here that do use that clear though, because I've seen it brought up a bunch of times. Hypersmooth 03 LED. What's your thoughts? I use a Hypersmooth 02 forever. I don't know what the difference is between the 03 and the 03 LED other than literally the LEDs in the display, and I don't know what makes it better as opposed to just an 03 or if they even still have just the 03. I know you have a video showing this for the most part, but what blast pot would you suggest to convert a blast cabinet to blast pot? Honestly, you can do just fine with the bigger Harbor Freight one. I think they offer two different ones. I think one's 110 pound or 90 pound or something. It's the bigger of the two. It's still cheap. It's like $100 or $120 or something. Take that one, convert the bottom fittings to 1/2 inch instead of the 3/8 that they come with, and just drill a hole in your cabinet and run the hose up into that. You can put it on a dead man if you want to do that. I didn't like that setup myself, so I just control the valves as I was going to be blasting. Didn't have it on a foot pedal or anything. Oh, yeah, DIY lean plans. Yeah, I figured it out after I asked. Sorry. I'm trying to read a lot of stuff right now. Have you used retroreflected prismatic black? No, I have some Belfed. I have not used it. I have a bunch of powders that I've been wanting to make videos with, and I don't know, it's very complicated. It's very hard. That's actually on my list. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th video down for colors that I want to spray and show people videos on. I have a new color that just came out from Tiger that is unreleased, so I'm going to be messing with that one probably for the next video that I do on specific colors. WC might need to shoot a base color and do the vinyl peel. Yeah, I mean, really, JWC, if you want to do a 2-stage like that, I have multiple videos, or 2-tone rather. I have multiple videos showing you the other way of doing that. That would be my suggestion anyway, because it looks better, and you're not limited on colors quite as much. David Hosser, the vinyl shrinking in your oven maybe getting hotter than you intended. Yep, that's probably it. CC wheel clear isn't acrylic, probably. Zach Leader, I've struggled with Faraday. Yeah, I mean, if you have a gun that's adjustable and you're still having Faraday issues, there's a good chance that you're either getting too close to the parts or your ground sucks. Is there a cheap way to convert a pressure release pot to a pressure hold? Mason, I'm going to need more information on that. Been using the exact carbon copy of Sean's blast cat. I've set it for 4 years now, and it works great. Yeah, it's a champ. That one that I set up forever ago is still being used by the guy that I sold it to. So I have so many sample powders I want to use. They're probably expired. I've used powder that was 8 years old and it was perfectly fine. Certain stuff you're not gonna get away with that on a lot of the hybrids, or urethanes tend to not age well. But like normal poly powders, you'll probably be fine. Steve, CC Wheel Clear is acrylic. DIY, send it. They'll be fine. How much evaporation do you see with your EcoStrip setup? I'm currently installing an 800-gallon tank now, so I'm wondering if the... Blazin', it's funny that you bring this up. I was talking to Matt from Express Chem today because I was cleaning their new. I have one of their new setups for chemical strip. One of the ones that they'll be selling on their site as soon as I post the video. And I'm not going to say there's no evaporation, but there's none to discuss. There's not enough to talk about. It's been insane, honestly. I've had the same 90 gallons in this particular setup for months and months and months and months, and we strip every single day. And I went to clean it out today, and what I was going to be doing was the way that the clean out setup is on there is it's on like a kind of a pallet thing, and you lift it up and you open the drain, and it's supposed to drain any sludge out, and then once you see it get to just being the chemical, because the sludge is all at the bottom, when you see it get to just like flat chemical, you close the valve, okay, and then you put new chemical in top to fill it back up for however much sludge you drained. Now, I expected to open that valve and get a bunch of sludge out. There was none. The first half second was the sludge, and then there was none. Now, the one thing about EcoStrip is it dissolves powder as opposed to just like sheeting it off like Rim Strip or some of the other methylene chloride based strippers. But the chemical stripper, it was funny, while I was talking to Matt, I was telling him, I was like, dude, this doesn't make any sense. Why is it doing this? And he's like, it sounds like you're complaining about a good thing. And I was like, I'm not complaining, I'm confused because it's not happening. I expected a bunch of sludge to come out, and there was no sludge. And so tomorrow I'm going to finish recording that video. I got some more editing. I got probably like a couple days worth of editing. So next week I'm going to have a new video on their newer chemical strip setup that they'll be offering to you guys. I'm going to see if I can get you guys a discount code to be able to get that as well. But I haven't seen any evaporation. I do use mineral oil. I was told that it would help with the whole like steaming off of stuff and keep the smell down. I don't know if it helps with that or not. It might help with evaporation, which is why I haven't seen any evaporation problems. But it hasn't been anything to concern me. The evaporation has been reasonable. I also keep a lid on it when, there's parts in it. There's a lid on it unless I'm putting stuff in or taking stuff out. So, one thing to keep in mind. Oh, guys, we're like way over an hour. I'm going to see if I can answer some of these. Zach, what's your ground setup? Let me get to that. Thank you for all the videos and tips over the years. Reed's Metalworks. Hey, no problem, man. More videos coming, actually. I'm always glad to help you guys out. I'm glad people are still finding use in these videos. There's a couple of my old videos. There's like a Brembo video that still each month is my #1 viewed video. It gets tons of views still. Like I said, super glad that people are still enjoying the videos. JWC, it's too detailed for a vinyl pole? Huh. JWC, email me ukcarmy@gmail.com. Email me a photo of what you're talking about. I'm kind of curious if you have it, if you have photos available of it, of course. Cameron, unfortunately down under we don't get tiger powder, mostly Interpon, Deluxe. Cameron, Interpon, obviously we have here. The Dulux or Deluxe or whatever, and Jotan and Oxytech. I don't think I know what any of those are. Tom, is Oxytech the one that you were telling me about the other day? Or maybe it was Steve. One of you guys. Do they have any, like, crazy cool colors? I'm always interested in finding powder coating companies that sell colors that I don't normally have access to. I have powder from 2004. Well, Elliot, you could probably get rid of that. That's pretty... I don't know. How do you still have powder from 2004? It was before I started powder coating. The ground runs to the main breaker box on the ground bar. Well, I know you're not supposed to do that, exactly, Racing, so you should definitely fix that problem. Yeah, Parker's saying do a ground rod. I'm kind of up in the air on that, but it's definitely going to be better than going to the ground bar in your box. You don't want that. I have to practice more with multi-coats again. DIY. Jeez, I'm so far behind you guys. I'm interested in talking grounding. I have an 8-foot rod, dude. Stop bragging. In the ground in Gilbert, Arizona is very dry here. I noticed that when I put salt on the ground and get it wet. No, that is the trick, unfortunately. Unfortunately, DIY welding plans, that is the trick. The ground basically requires moisture. Now, I did see a video of a guy who put, your soil there isn't ideal for this. And I think he was somewhere super dry. I want to say he was in like New Mexico or Texas. But he had put a different type of soil around his ground rod. And he had a thing that basically like leaked water onto it. Like a garden misting type system, something like that, or a drip system. He said once he did that, it fixed all his problems that he was having with grounding. So, I don't know if that's an option for you. Obviously, that's a lot of work. Hey, DIY welding plans. I want to click on your name and see what your channel is. What is DIY welding plans? I'm super curious. I have a Clemco BNP65 pressure blast cabinet. It sits under the desk collector, but every time you release the foot pedal, it... Oh, okay. I don't know, Mason. I actually don't know how to fix that problem, but there has to be a bypass that would stop that from happening. Because my setup doesn't do that. It does vent, but it doesn't vent the way that you're explaining. Mason, so the strip setup that Express Chem sent has strip heaters built into it. God, I wish I could post like pictures in here. Let me see if I could. I'm gonna show you guys a little sneak peek. Because I did take a picture of this for doing thumbnail stuff. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this, unfortunately. Let's see. So if you look in the background with the orange band, that's the old setup. And the new one is right here. This one holds, I think it's 110 gallons. We put like 90 in or something like that. You can see that stainless steel part down at the bottom covers the band heaters. And this thing heats up fast, by the way. It also retains its heat because of the insulation that was put on it. So, we'll shut it down. It'll be like 180-ish, 170 something at the end of the day. The next morning when we come in, it's still like 130. So, and it heats up fast. We're talking 30 minutes, it's back up to temperature. So, definitely something to look into. I'm going to try to provide as much information as I can. The video will be out next week showing that new setup from them. And then as far as I know, that's going to be on their website and being sold. So, something for you guys to look forward to. Okay, when you use the mineral oil, do you have any issues removing leftover residue? So mineral oil doesn't transfer the way that traditional oils do. At least it hasn't for me. I'm going to be rinsing all that anyway. I'm going to be pressure washing it all off, so I don't typically have to deal with it. But the mineral oil doesn't seem to have any real effect on anything as far as that goes. Zach Leader Racing, shoe, the smell is strong. Just got mine set up. Yeah, the smell is a little rough. The mineral oil will help with the smell, I'm told. Appreciate your videos too. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate you guys. ProTech is the powder that you showed me. All right, so it's not Oxy. Talking about the vinyl, did you see the result in the Porsche that I sent you? When did you send them? These are ones you sent a while back, right, Elliot? This is not like you didn't just send them to me. I have a swamp cooler. Gonna try letting that run on the ground. Yeah, that's a great idea. You got a swamp cooler running. It's already making its own moisture for you, technically. So I put an IV bag with a drip on your ground. Wait, did you really, Steve? Is that real? Mason B, I have a Clemco too. You need to look at installing a pinch valve into the system. Oh, yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. I assumed that he had a pinch valve in the setup. But yeah, he's right. Reed's Metalwork. Mason, if you read his message in the chat. How much is that setup? Parker, what setup? The new chemical strip setup? No idea, dude. I'm trying to get all the information I can out of Matt to be able to edit the video. Trey Brenneman, does humidity really affect throwing powder? Yes. Now, it doesn't I shouldn't say that. It can affect certain things, certain aspects. What I've seen it have the biggest effect on is metallics and pearls. It affects the way they lay. I think it's actually because it affects the way that the gun is charging them as a result of more moisture in the air. But on solid tones and stuff like that, it's not usually an issue. You'll get some back ionization issues because the air is able to hold a charge better because there's more moisture in it. So it's easier to get back ionization, but once again, you can either dial the gun back or pull the gun further away from the part to spray and kind of alleviate those problems. Yeah, and if I remember, 2004 was the expired date. Bought a lot of powder from an industrial shop. Oh, wow. That's random. We don't all have Medicare. Oh, that shot's fired. Yeah, Steve, I would assume it would. That's even the idea of that one that's going to be off the swamp cooler would be great. I mean, you're already going to have that, that overflow of water. You might as well have it drip on and be useful. All right, guys. We'll spend like an hour and a half. So I'm going to get out of here. Going to do another live Q&A. I appreciate all your guys' support, obviously. If you're still here, hit that like button. Going to do another live Q&A, I assume, on Tuesdays from now on. I am going to put a poll in the UKC Army Facebook group and on YouTube and see if I can get you guys to vote and see what day I should do it. But I think Tuesday is going to be the day that works best for me. So expect a live Q&A every Tuesday, and we'll see if we can get more people in here. Like I said, I don't know what the peak was today, but we used to have way more people in these, like I think up to 100 at a time. I mean, I definitely have had more than 100 at a time. Today we've had 67 at one time, apparently. All right. I don't know, 38 concurrent. That's what it was. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. I will see you next week. There'll be a video dropping tomorrow, which is Friday. And there'll be a video dropping Sunday and Monday. Monday will be like a Motivation Monday. Like I said, those are going to be dropping every Monday now. But there'll be a video, like I said, tomorrow, Friday, and then one Sunday. And there should be actually 2 more videos next week that are not the Motivation Monday. I'll maybe try to space them out Wednesday and Friday or something like that. But I appreciate you guys, and have a good one.